Selamat sejahtera dan selamat sepupu. All over the news right now, you're gonna see news about a royal addendum, a royal pardon, discussions about how UMNO didn't want to go for a protest, Akmal Saleh went for a protest, and so on and so forth right here, culminating in Zahid Hamidi's appeal to the current Yang di-Pertuan Agong. Please, pardon Najib, save him. Hey, maybe in the next video I'll be able to say Selamat Bosku because that's exactly what UMNO is trying to do. Now, for those of you who don't know, ever since Prime Minister Najib Razak, the 6th Prime Minister of Malaysia, was imprisoned because of the SRC scandal, his party, the United Malaysian National Organisation, otherwise known as UMNO, has been desperately trying to free him. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but if you're looking outside world in, Najib's 1MDB scandal was not just a regular financial scandal, it was one of the biggest financial scandals in history. Used money that could have been used for development projects, telecommunications, and everything out there, taken away from Malaysia in a whole complex network of transactions right here that would make your average chartered accountant cry. The money was used on different things like a luxury yacht called the Equanimity apparently, luxury art, parties with Leonardo DiCaprio, plastic surgery. This is basically an attempt to free somebody who took part in one of the biggest financial scandals of all time. But this video isn't to criticize that, it's literally just to explain what I understand about UMNO's mindset. It can be right, it can be wrong. I welcome comments, and if you like what you're listening to, make sure to like and subscribe. Alright, on with it. Why is UMNO trying to save Bosku to the point of asking for a full royal pardon for Najib after the Royal Addendum, after the sentence itself was slashed down from 12 years to 6 years, and he received a massive discount on the fine? Well, first of all, Dato Sri Najib is the son of Tun Razak, and there's no question about it. This means that he is part of one of the most legendary political families in the entirety of Malaysia. Now bear in mind that Tun Razak is not just part of the fancy name for the TRX. No. He's also known as our father of development, and he was the mentor of our 4th and 7th Prime Minister, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, who by the way is thought of as the whole agent of change that basically shut down Najib in the first place. From UMNO's point of view, Najib was basically a scapegoat targeted by Mahathir to destroy UMNO's credibility and to destroy UMNO's chances in the 2018 general elections, after which they basically lost to Pakatan Harapan, and here we are today. So if you're an UMNO member, you're probably not caring so much about the whole financial scandal type thing, and they think of it as a manipulation, even though there is an actual case. It's not just about legacy, by the way. After Najib was imprisoned, he actually got more popular. He actually started writing a whole bunch of fire social media posts to the point that people started identifying with him. Whether you like it or not, rural Malays think of him as the Brim King, Cash is King Prime Minister who basically gave them help and aid during the time when UMNO was in its heyday. He showed himself as a man of the people, even though he's probably anything but, and has one of the most legendary backgrounds in the entirety of politics right here. To that end, UMNO thinks of Bosku as a way for them to actually get back in the good books of the rural Malays who are currently being gaslighted by PAS with their fitnah campaign, even as they try to side with Bosku and pretend that they always love the Malaysian constitution. Either way though, if you think about UMNO's position right now in the current government, there's like an open question of like how it's actually gonna go from where it is in the unity government to eventually having the Grand Old Party become dominant in Malaysian politics again. And the answer to that, for many reasons, lies in saving Bosku. But the point is this, that UMNO basically thinks that Bosku is their relatable, charismatic, ultra leader that can actually reconnect with the rural Malays, save them away from PAS, win them the elections again, because UMNO basically sees him not just as the child of the 2nd Prime Minister, but also as a powerful, competent and charismatic leader as well. And whether we like it or not, so do a lot of Malaysians. A lot of Malaysians still think of Najib as a really charismatic administrator. Of course, maybe some people like Tony Phua might disagree, and a lot of people might say that, oh, he is so corrupt, he took so much money from Malaysia, how is it possible that he could be a good leader? But the fact is that in Malaysia, whether we like it or not, there is a tolerance for this kind of thing. And it's like a systemic part of the culture which is manifested in Bosku, but it really is present everywhere else as well. I mean, think about it. Like when UMNO thinks about why it is that Bosku should be free, they basically just talk about how other cases, the prosecution didn't go as fast, and they talk about how it was politically motivated. So it's part of that whole narrative right there, which makes it so that they just want to free Bosu evermore. It's also kind of worthwhile to note that a lot of people do not like Anwar Ibrahim. Like, that's just a fact. It's an unfortunate fact, but it's a very real fact. They view him as weak, they think Bosu is strong, and that he is the solution to everything that's happening out there in Malaysia, whether it is true or it is not true. But then that's politics. Anyway, at the end of the day, UMNO has multiple different reasons to want to save Bosu that come from this idea of selective prosecution, politically motivated persecution, Tun Mahathir's vendetta, the Bosu factor, and pretty much a willingness to forgive his corruption if it means that he will ensure the survival of the party. I mean, Najib was UMNO's longest serving Prime Minister after Mahathir, and basically imprisoning him is kind of analogous to imprisoning the entire party itself, which is why they're going out there and doing their very best and have been doing their very best to make sure that he goes free. Whatever the consequences to Malaysia, how it's viewed in the world, and what the universe thinks about us at the moment though, for the moment, those are things that we can think about later. Alright, anyway, that's about it. Thanks, see ya.